But first and foremost, I do have an update in reference to the Michael Oher conservatorship story that I covered a couple of days ago. At that point in time, I told you that I believe that obviously he has the proof that there was a conservatorship. Otherwise, he wouldn't be able to have a lawsuit. So I was correct about that. And since that lawsuit was announced, it appears now that the Tuohy family has decided to end their conservatorship of Michael Oher. Let me show you this. This is a huge update. Tuohy family plans to end conservatorship of Michael Oher after the Blind Side star files for lawsuit. So this was huge. This just came through. Go down here. Sean and Leigh Ann Tuohy plan to end their conservatorship of former NFL offensive lineman and Ole Miss All-American Michael Oher. Attorneys representing the couple announced on Wednesday. Oher, whose story is depicted in the 2009 film The Blind Side, alleged the Tuohy family never legally adopted him as portrayed in the film and only entered a conservatorship in an attempt to profit off of him. Though attorneys contend Oher received the same share of profits from the film as other members of the Tuohy household. Oher's lawsuit, which was obtained by ESPN, claims the Tuohys entered Oher into a conservatorship while presenting it to be the same process as legal adoption. The lawsuit demanded an end to the Tuohy's conservatorship of Oher, which has been in place since 2004, just months before his 18th birthday. So just to remind everyone, when he signed these documents, he was technically still a minor. And it was very clear to me when I covered this story a couple of days ago that Michael Oher did not realize what he was signing. So that is that. Entering Oher into a conservatorship allowed the Tuohys to oversee Oher's financial life and enter into legal deals without his consent, though Oher was not a legal member of the family. So even when we talk about the movie The Blind Side, typically if someone is portraying your name, your image, or likeness, most of the time, you would have some say so. You would either be on the set of the film, you would have been contacted, something like that. But that did not happen in the case of Michael Oher. And honestly, the studios didn't have to do that because, again, the Tuohys had the conservatorship. So if they wanted to say, yes, let's make a movie about him being the blind side, that was his position when he played football, we could go ahead and do that. And they didn't even have to ask Michael if he wanted that to happen. So just an FYI. Where are we here? Where did I stop? Oh, in the case of The Blind Side, the award-winning film grossed more than $300 million and earned actress Sandra Bullock an Oscar for her portrayal of Leigh Ann Tuohy. Michael Oher discovered this lie to his chagrin and embarrassment in February of 2023 when he learned that the conservatorship, to which he consented on the basis that doing so would make him a member of the Tuohy family, in fact, provided him no familial relationship with the Tuohys. So that was another thing I just want to remind you of, especially if you didn't see that story. He actually didn't find out till this year that what he signed was a conservatorship. It was not, he basically signed over whatever rights he kind of had to his name and his image to them. So legally, they were able to use his name and image. If they want to make money off of it, legally, they could do that. In the wake of the lawsuit, the Tuohys and their legal team called accusations against the family hurtful and absurd. Attorneys for the family said Wednesday the $500,000 in proceeds from the film was split evenly among all 5 Tuohy family members or included at least $100,000 per person. Now, that's different from what the previous article said. The previous article said the Tuohy family received over $200,000 per person and that Michael Oher did not receive anything from the film when it came to profits. In reality, the Tuohys opened their home to Mr. Oher, offered him structure, support, and most of all, unconditional love, says Martin Singer, who's the attorney representing the Tuohys. They have consistently treated him like a son and one of their 3 children. His response was to threaten them, including saying that he would plant a negative story about them in the press unless they paid him $15 million. So I would say if he was like one of their own children, do they have conservatorships over their children? And don't tell me it can't be done, because Britney Spears' father had a conservatorship over her. Just something to think about. They insisted that any money received be divided equally, and they have made good on that pledge. The evidence documented in profit participation checks and studio accounting statements is clear. Over the years, the Tuohys have given Mr. Oher an equal cut of every penny received from The Blind Side. Even recently, when Mr. Oher started to threaten them about what he would do unless they paid him an 8-figure windfall, and as part of that shakedown effort refused to cash the small profit checks from the Tuohys, they still deposited Mr. Oher's equal share into a trust they set up for his son. Well, that's a different story, isn't it? That's why I wanted to give you an update on this story, because this is very different than what was reported a couple of days ago. So we'll see what happens. We will see what happens. Hopefully they'll be able to settle everything. And your family is important, I think. And don't get me wrong, like sometimes there are times when you do have to part with family. It happens. But I sincerely hope that they figure this out and can move forward. Apologies need to be made, whether you feel you're sorry or not. Sometimes it's just best to just go ahead and apologize and just keep it moving. But we shall see. We shall see. Ravina says, that's not family. Unconditional love is unconditional. This wasn't it. Here you go.